Welcome to another episode of Wait a Gam Minute. Tonight we have Mr. Brian Bass. He is a candidate for mayor here in the city of Suffolk. So we're actually looking forward to speaking with him tonight. And Mr. Bass, can I call you Brian?
Sure.
Great.
If I can call you Travell.
That is perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. I want us to be honest tonight and let the viewers know about you and basically, who you are, because our viewers do not know who Mr. Brian is. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware who you are and what you stand for. So again, welcome to Wait a Gam Minute.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, just a quick, hey, I'm Native American. I'm Nansemond Indian. So my heritage in this city is, I would say, prehistoric, right?
Right.
So I've got a deep root here in the city of Suffolk. But I was born in Portsmouth, and my parents moved out to Suffolk when I was 3 years old, 3 to 4. And I've been in Suffolk ever since. And, I grew up out in the rural part of Suffolk towards Holland, between Holland.
Okay, so you're an old country boy.
I am. I'm
Okay.
a country mouse.
Okay.
You a city mouse. All right. So, that's kind of my upbringing was, public education, lived in a rural area, grew up out in the rural area, bounced the basketball and played baseball growing up. That was my passion. That's what I love doing.
Okay.
And, as I graduated from high school, from Forest Glen in '88.
Oh man, you went to Forest Glen?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, see, I think if I was in the era, I probably wanted to go to maybe Suffolk High or Kennedy.
So, my wife was at Suffolk High.
Okay.
So she
Okay.
went to Suffolk High. So Forest Glen and FGH united there. The
Okay.
two of us, right?
Okay.
So, we met when we were in high school and then separated for a couple years. And then after, we both had been out of high school for a year or two, we reconnected, and 29 years later, we're still married.
29 years?
Yes, 29 years.
Oh, wow. So how many kids?
We got 3, 25-year-old Jared, a
Okay.
20-year-old Andrew, and a 16-year-old Hannah. All of them went to Southwestern, Pioneer, and Lakeland.
Okay. Now we got
And
another
they,
issue.
And they went to Forest Glen, too, so.
So we have another issue, Brian. So
What we
your
got?
kids went to Forest Glen, I went to Kennedy, Booker T, and Nansemond River.
Okay.
So, Nansemond and Lakeland was like rivalry back
yeah.
then.
That's
But
still
now I
are,
understand
yeah.
it has flipped. Like Lakeland is a school to go to, like far as the band and sports and stuff like that.
I think all of it fluctuates, I will say, personally speaking, I've been involved with all the high schools over the last 10 years since my kids started high school.
Okay.
I coach baseball at Lakeland. I coach baseball at Kings Fork. And, it's something that I'm connected with in the community, with the coaching, mentoring, and, talking back to, I guess, a little bit about me is that's been my passion is coaching and teaching, mentoring kids, because when I was growing up, that's what I had. I had an example like that set for me. So.
Okay, Brian, so tell us why we as citizens of Suffolk should actually vote for you.
All right, so if you want somebody that has worked in the system, I worked in local government, and I was witnessing a lot of things within the city and local government that was happening that just wasn't sitting well with me.
Okay.
And I just have worked in public utilities. I've worked in public works. I work in construction right now as a project manager.
Okay.
And you have to be a leader in all those things.
Understandable.
So, I feel like I possess all of those skills. And also, I am a tribal councilman for a nation. And
So tell us a little bit about that.
so Nansemond Indian Nation, we are recognized by the federal government as a nation. We have a tribal government with a chief, assistant chief, and tribal councilman.
Now, do you guys fall in the same law of the lands as us, or do you guys have your own law?
We fall within the lines of the United States government, but we also have other things that we practice. But
Okay.
we all have to abide by the land law of the
Right.
United States government.
Okay.
But we can negotiate treaties. We can negotiate different things for grants. We can negotiate with the federal government.
Oh wow. Okay. So now the ones who aren't in the tribal community as you, we won't have that. I say same as you, be able to. How you just said it? You just negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
So we as regular citizens, do we have that right, or there's something that you guys have?
No, I mean, yes, so that's something that it's like an agreement that Native people have that other people don't have.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of like you're recognized as, so like Canada's a nation.
Right.
So all the federally recognized tribes are individual nations. Now, granted, our nation is like 300 members.
Oh, so you guys, okay.
So, you know, we're not huge, but then you have other Native American tribes that are federally recognized that have 3,000 or 5,000.
Wow.
You know,
So
so
this
there's
depends on
different
where you
levels,
are.
but you know, naturally the ones that have more members have more benefits. You know, they have more people working to, you know, help the tribe prosper.
Okay. So tell us, what is it, the reason why you decided to run, I believe you ran back in 2016?
Yes.
So what was the reason you wanted to run again?
Well, I felt like, you know, there were some things that I was told, I was hopeful that our city leaders would do, which haven't been done. You know, one being the mayor saying, hey, you know, after the election, I like your ideas, I'll get with you.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
So that didn't happen at all?
No, I mean, you know, and if you watch and you pay attention to city council meetings, it's pretty much at election time you see them.
Correct. Now
And
that,
then when it's not election time, you don't see them.
you don't see, it's like they're in hibernation.
I mean, it's like if they're not at ribbon cuttings and graduations, we don't see them.
And you know, it's funny that you said that, because I actually reached out to two other candidates, one for mayor as yourself and the other for city council. And you know, I felt as though, well, maybe they thought, you know, not to come on to wait again a minute because maybe they thought our platform wasn't big enough, or, you know, because sometimes I think, just like you just said, if they're not out in the front to be seen, to get the pictures and all of that, then it's like they are nowhere to be found. And I felt some type of way about that.
I mean, that's me. I mean, I'm tired of us average citizens. I just consider myself an average citizen. You know, I had a high school education. I volunteer and work in the community.
Okay.
But I've been downtown to city council and asked for things, and it's like there's no follow-up. There's no real concern. It's like, okay, get out of the way next. And that's all I get. And I know if that's all I get, that's all the most of every other average citizen that goes up there.
You're absolutely correct.
You know, if we're not a big business owner trying to develop some land, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I mean, my biggest thing is I'm here to represent the average citizen. You know, people with money don't want average people in there working to try to get where they're at.
That's right.
They're
And
going to do what they
especially-
can to keep us at bay.
Right, and especially they don't want people who have their own mind and they're strong in what they, you know, what they're trying to do. If you're a yes ma'am, yes sir, then it's like, okay, you can come on in, because you're gonna, even though they may have moved out the way, they still have their hand in it, and they can kind of control what's going on in the city.
Yeah, and so also about your question, why I've gotten to know our city councilman
Okay.
on a personal level. And, you know, they have shared some things with me that, you know, I just feel like they need help. And they need help with a leader and a mayor that wants to accomplish some things in the city. In other words, when I'm told that they have things they want on the city council's agenda over and over for month after month and year after year, and it's not ever put on there, well, that sounds like a dictatorship to me.
It does.
And I'm not making this up. These are factual things that I have had councilmen share with me. So, you know, I live in the Holy Neck Borough, and Tim Johnson's my councilman. I think the world have the utmost respect for him, but he needs help. His ideologies of equal treatment and getting things done for the citizens out in Holy Neck, That's what I stand for as well. And, you know, I'm going to have to work with everyone on city council.
That's
It's
right.
not about coming in to say this is how we do it. This is not a dictatorship.
So it's basically a team effort to
It's
make
a
sure that
team
we get the
effort.
city in Suffolk
You
where it
know,
needs
and we're
to
not
be.
always going to agree. But I want to work with everybody. I think, you know, my mentality and my personality is outgoing and understanding and compassionate. And, you know, I've had my own trials and tribulations, you know, of life, like we all have.
That's right.
And I can relate to a lot of things that people are dealing with, from small businesses to losing your job, going back to school. I've been there and done that, you know, and it speaks volumes for people that have experienced it and get up and go out in life and keep working.
Keep working, no matter what the issue is.
Okay, I have a question from a viewer. What made him get into being in a leadership position? So basically, Brian, why did you decide to get into the position of being a leader?
So, like I said, you know, when I worked in the other localities, I kind of saw how things were going. And, you know, when we get out on jobs, I'm a project manager. We all work together. It's just naturally kind of what I do as far as coaching and mentoring.
Okay.
I've been in the community over and over for the last 20 years. You know, my oldest son is 25, and from the time he was able to be involved with things, I've been involved. You know, from volunteering with the youth groups to coaching to being on the athletic boards, just anything to be in the community and help.
So so from what I'm getting from you is that Brian is a hands-on type person.
Yes.
You just, like you said, you're not about dictating what has to be done, but you actually can delegate, but actually at the same time get in there and do the work
Yes.
as well alongside of us.
That's it.
Perfect.
Yep.
Now I have a question. Being a resident of Suffolk, why is this water bill so high? Like, what happened? How can we control it?
All right, so the city of Suffolk had an agreement with Portsmouth and Norfolk, and we sold the water many moons ago, the rights to that water. So now we buy the water from Portsmouth and Norfolk, and we buy it back from them, and then we sell it to our citizens after it's treated.
So basically, they're buying the water from the store. They turn it from the wholesale, turn around and sell it to the consumers.
That's the
in order to make a profit. They're shooting the price.
So it's
up.
not so much to make a profit it's just the process of treating the water
Okay.
at the water plants and to disperse it, the water meters, the water meter reading, the tracking of the water, the usage. I mean, all that cost.
Right.
I do know that I'm in the construction business, and I know that the city of Suffolk just recently tied in a line to Isle of Wight County. Now, it's been talked about at city council meetings that, you know, hopefully once that's tied in and they start buying water for us, that we could possibly see a reduction in our water bill. I wrote down on my questionnaire that is one of my top priorities, is to find out where we're at with that and let the citizens know. I'm not going to be saying possible. I'm going to tell you, I want to know the numbers myself.
Right.
And I want to share it with you and say, hey, this is what we're going to work towards. We could reduce it by 2 cents instead of it being 8 cents per 100 cubic foot of water.
Right.
I want it to be where you understand the volume and what it takes to get it lowered.
Okay. Now, you were saying something about you were going to find out in regards to the water for Isle of Wight County. A question that I also have is, what is on your agenda as far as what Brian wants, how you want to see the city, or what you want, the city, what way should we be moving in?
All right, so we know we're going to grow. There's no need in fighting that. What we need to do is make sure our education system is graduating at a clip of higher than 87%. We need to be in the 90%.
87%?
Yeah, we've been in the mid to low 80s now for about 5 or 6 years. And the goal to me, for people to want to move to the city, was the first thing they're asking. I've had real estate agents calling me, say, what are you going to do about the schools? Because I'm selling houses and I need our schools to have better, graduation rates, have better participation. Now look, as the mayor, I just approved the budget. But I do know that I still have a daughter that is in high school at Lakeland. And hopefully one day I'll have grandkids going to Suffolk Public Schools. It's paramount that we all pay attention to our public education and make sure we fully fund it. The city of Suffolk does not fully fund our schools. We're about $1,300 shy of what's recommended by the state and the federal government. So if we were to bump that up, our support per student, per capita, would be equivalent to Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. So when I say Chesapeake and Virginia Beach in education terms, does that resonate with you? You know they have good schools?
Yes, yes.
Right? So,
Yes.
I mean, you kind of pay for what you get.
Right.
You know, I mean, you look at the schools that struggle, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, we're right there with them in the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, our schools are accredited, but our graduation rate really isn't that good.
So do you know why that is?
I think a lot of it has to do with, basically, I'll say parent involvement, teacher involvement, school board involvement. We're not all on the same page. You know, we lost a lot of teachers in the last 4 or 5 years because of wages.
Wages, correct.
Yeah, so, you know, I think that has a lingering effect. And I'm not saying our schools aren't terrible. We have good schools, we have good administrators, but there's
Could be
room for
better,
improvement.
right.
And I just want to help. I just want to be there as a mentor, a guide. I've always been involved with the schools since my, you know, always.
Always.
Yes.
Okay, now this is the thing. I understand when you were saying about the real estate agents are saying, hey, what are you going to do about the schools? Because people are looking to purchase homes and they want certain, you know, schools for their children. So along the lines of businesses, what can we do for our citizens and you, I'm going to go ahead and speak it as the mayor. What can we do to bring new businesses in?
I think, you know, last week we had a town hall virtual meeting and I talked with small businesses. I've been speaking with small businesses up and down Washington Street for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
I think one thing the city can do, what I would like to do, is see lights down Washington Street. You know, when you come in at night, it's dark. It don't
It
look
is.
very welcoming.
It does.
And, you know, that came from a business owner. You know, that's one thing they're seeing that they'd like to have. And they're reaching out to economic development. They're working on, you know, getting something in place to where we have it decorated. It's fall. Yeah, maybe because of COVID, we're not out and about as much. But if you had something more inviting, that would be beneficial. My idea to the small businesses in downtown Suffolk would be to have, like, you know, the Taste of Suffolk that we have every year.
Oh, yeah.
What if we have that every other weekend?
You know, I've never been to the Taste of Suffolk.
Oh, girl.
I've never
They
been,
come
and I don't
out.
know, and I seen the pictures, and I'm like, I guess because one, maybe I missed the advertisement when they're, you know, letting everybody know that is what's happening in Suffolk, but for some reason I always miss it, and then, you know, so it's like I don't even know if I would want to go. I don't know.
So I've been several years now in a row, I've probably been 4 or 5 years in a row until this year when it was canceled. But, you know, it's always a great time. There's a lot of great food. There's vendors that come out and line up Main Street. What I would like to see, though, is just the vendors that are already here or the businesses that are already here. The traffic down East Washington and West Washington Street on a Saturday, so put your toe out there and find out what'll happen. They'll run over you.
Oh, you
They
have
see
to
that
tell
green
me.
when they leave from the city hall and they see a green light.
Yeah.
It's gas.
Yeah.
They're coming. So, you know, I would like to see something a little more laid back. You know, maybe we do it experimental and maybe we just do a section from Main Street to West Washington Street.
Right.
You know, just that one little stretch. People still go through Main Street, but give it a try. Let's try something new. You know,
Try
and
something.
I'm a firm believer in trying.
And trying.
Because
And
it's just part of, if you don't try something, you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. What is that? That's insanity.
And that's exactly what I was about to say. I think that being that some people that are in power, I think they don't want us to really grow. I think they want to keep it, like you said, keep us at bay and keep certain things going on within the city, but they don't want anything new.
Well, I think if it benefits them and they can make the money on it, then
Then to be
yeah.
okay.
Okay, I have a few questions. Back to
Can you turn your mic around to you?
okay, the first question. What changes are you looking forward to? And what would you do different as mayor than the previous or current mayor is doing or have done?
So number one is be involved. I've heard too many times in my campaigning that they've never seen the mayor, don't even know what the mayor looks like. And
Wow,
you
that's
know,
crazy.
I would say that I'm just going to be involved. I'm going to be cheering for the small businesses. I'm going to be cheering for the big business. I'm going to be out there working to land another Amazon or 2 Amazons.
That's
I'm
right.
going to be out there working. But here's the thing, you can have all these. We got to have. Amazon's a big fish, and it was
is.
great that we got them. Mm-hmm. But you know what? If there aren't any little fish for the big fish to eat, and I'm talking about customers and
Right.
supplies and demands for that, what good is it? So the city, I personally want to build up our small business base. If you look at our sales tax per capita, we're last in the whole area. Suffolk's a bed and breakfast. I want to get out here and
That's
get
right.
our businesses going. Your business is a startup business. I applaud you, but it's a big risk you're taking.
It is.
And it
You
is a
tell
lot
them.
of responsibility.
It is.
And, if you don't succeed and you fail, then the city fails. We need to, give benefits to the smaller businesses, cut back on their water tap fees, cut back maybe on some of their permitting.
Right.
There are all kinds of things that, I envision we could do to help small businesses. But number one, to answer your question, I'm going to be involved. I'm not going to run from issues when they come up. If you follow my page, go to, my Facebook page. I've done videos on Teen Talk about COVID. I've had a doctor on to talk about where we're at with COVID. I've talked about social injustice. I've talked about how we need, equitable treatment for everyone. It needs to be
That's right.
spot on. If it happens to a black person, we need to address it then. If it happens to a Latino, we need to address it. It's just when things come up, we have to be held accountable. It doesn't matter, black, brown, Puerto, it doesn't matter. We all need to stand up for one another. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I have been in this community speaking and representing all of those. I mean,
In the
people.
trenches, yeah.
Yeah, and we've had several things happen this year that our current administration has not said one word off until after the fact.
And you know what? It's funny you said that. You're saying a lot of you hitting a lot of my points that I was thinking like, well, let me ask him this, let me ask him that. But honestly, I didn't know who our mayor was either. I heard her name, but I didn't know. I couldn't put a name with a face. So when they did the Black Lives Matter, I think it was Dominique and Eric and them did it. That's when I first saw you.
Okay.
And I believe Randy Carter was there. He was
Yeah.
the only one there from the city, I believe.
Leroy Bennett was there.
Mr. Bennett,
Yep.
he was. And we were right at her home, and you didn't come. But I believe had it been like now, then maybe, because it's towards election time, then,
Well,
people
they
out.
had another one like 2 weeks later where we marched from
Yes,
and went to the train station.
correct.
And they were all there then.
And now that one I saw that.
Right.
There was
So,
a lot of people.
here's the thing. It's just like we all have said, and I've witnessed it, from the time election's over till 6 months before the next one, you can't get nothing done. You get a bunch of promises. I see the slogan of let's move forward together. I mean, are you going to help us moving forward, or are we going to get more of the same? I'll go to Vegas on more of the same.
Right.
And bring back a lot of money.
And you only can go by what's been done in the past.
That's it.
So that's another thing. Like, what is it? Okay, can we trust that you're gonna do exactly what you said you're gonna do? Because a lot of time politicians, they get in office and it's like, oh, we're promising you this, but when they get there, it's a different agenda. Can we trust that and stand on what you're telling us?
Oh yes. There's too many people said they're gonna hold me accountable, as well as myself.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We have to understand what our purpose is. My purpose is to serve. And it's, I'm in Rotary, and our slogan is service above self. And that's what it's about. It's like all the military we have in our community.
Right.
Our military community is huge, and you know, when I meet people, they say, "Well, I'm in the military, I can't vote for you." I said, "That doesn't matter. Once I'm elected, you're a citizen just like everybody else. You know, your voice matters. Your kids are going to school in Suffolk Public Schools, right?" "Yes, sir." I said, "Well, you need to know you can come speak to me as a fellow parent that deals with the public
Same
schools."
issue, yeah.
You know, I'm well aware. So, you know, to say that, you know, "Oh, you're mayor, you can't have," I'm a parent of a child that goes to Suffolk Public Schools. All of my kids attended my wife and I attended Suffolk Public Schools.
Right.
I've been entrenched in those schools my whole life. And, you know, we provide a good education, and it could be better.
It could be better.
It could be better. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till the good gets better and the better gets best.
I know that's right.
Come on.
Okay, we have another question. What about bringing businesses to the downtown area for our youth, like skating rink, bowling alley, movie theaters, etc.?
Or something for our youth to do.
Right.
Right. So, you know, there are opportunities that the city can help with and promote. I would be all about kind of like what I said about shutting down the street for a day. I mean, right here at City Hall, we could have like a little carnival right here, you know, twice a year for something. And then maybe we can get us some investors in here to have, my vision is to have a theme park that focuses on summertime activities. That's putt-putt, go-kart,
Right.
you know,
Keep the kids out the
paintball,
street.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then the wintertime, you have like foosball, you have other things that you can do indoors in the same area.
In the same area.
And there are locations in the city that's right here within a half a block or 2 blocks that the buildings are vacated, they're
Right.
run down, there's houses back here. Y'all know how these houses look.
Oh, yes.
You
God.
know, I mean, they're not even livable, but people live in them. We need to do something about that. We need to make downtown more attractive to where a business wants to come and have affordable housing at the same time.
Okay. Now, a question that I have, the term of mayor, like how long is that term?
4 years.
4 years. So it's like the president.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you
so
know,
you have a while to get things done.
I view a 4 year, like, so you got to understand there's going to be a lot of challenges
Correct.
for the next mayor with COVID and the funding that's going to happen, because inevitably we're all going to have an impact on us for the next probably 18 months is what the economic forecast is. So once we get into the new year, we're going to start realizing the impact. You know, schools haven't been being used, so now we're going to be going back to school. There's going to be maintenance issues. There's going to be other breakouts with
Right.
COVID or something else possibly.
Something else, yeah.
We have to be proactive and start planning for those things. And it's hard to plan for the unforeseen, but you have to at least have an imagination to say, I'm going to be looking at what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, so another question. Why more things are coming to northern Suffolk versus downtown Suffolk?
So what's new, you know, the shiny pearl, you know, that's kind of how it works, right? I mean, that's the gist of it. You know, if y'all, a lot of people may not know this, but on median salary, the city of Suffolk is a tick below Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. And I mean, I say a tick, I mean like if median household is 48, and I'm just, best of my knowledge, that's
Okay.
a ballpark number. Suffolk's at 46, you know, and
Wow.
and we're right there. Whereas Norfolk, Portsmouth, the other ones are considerably lower, 15, 20,000 lower as a median household. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those people live out there. Suffolk's a bed and breakfast, and those people want to come. And you've been out there. Have you seen some of those houses?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice out there, and I'm not gonna lie, the amenities they have are very nice. So, you know, it's kind of maintained at that level. I don't think that's right. I think we all pay our taxes. Their tax bill's not any higher than mine.
But now let's get into it now.
Come on.
Now why? Because I kind of live on that end. So, I don't know. I think It is nice out there. I think it's about to get congested with all that's going on. However, I think somebody told me that the mayor lives that way. I'm not for
Yes,
sure.
the mayor lives in the neighborhood right behind John Yates High School.
Okay.
Can I tell you a story about that?
Yes, you can.
I went and walked that I walked every neighborhood over there.
Okay.
Her road's been repaved. This is what the residents told me. 4 times in the last 16 years. You know how many times my road's been repaved in the last 16 years? Or better yet,
None, probably.
her road's like this. There's a road like that. That road hasn't been paved. And it's cracked and looks horrible. And you know, those residents there are upset.
That doesn't make any sense. But I think at some point you have to hold us accountable, though, because we're the ones who don't get out and vote, or we're the ones who continue to allow people to do things that they
That's
do
what
to
we
us.
do. You know, here's the struggle for me. You know, I'm in this for you as the next citizen.
Okay.
And, you know, but there's people that don't see that. They see it as I'm doing it for personal gain, and that's not the case. The people that are in there have shown their track record of what they do. And, you know, we've already talked about the definition of insanity, continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to say that I'm not that person. I'm here for service. That's what I've been called to do. That's what I've been telling people. That's what I want you. Once I get elected mayor, you're going to call Brian and say, you remember you said you were going? I said, I'm going to be right on it. Thanks for putting me on, you know.
And don't change your number because I'm
blast.
going to blow you up.
No,
I'm gonna say,
don't put me on blast.
I'm going to be respectful. Then I'm going to say, Mr. Mayor, remember you said, and then we're going to go forward.
That's it.
That's,
and you know what? I don't claim to be perfect. I can't walk on water. I don't know
Right.
but one that did, but I'm going to do my best to do what's right. You know, our rights as citizens from all the amendments, we have to make sure we protect them. First, Second Amendment rights are important to a lot of people. They're important to me.
Yeah, me
you know,
too.
Third Amendment, Fourth, all of that's important. We have to make sure we stand up for our rights. And, you know, as a sworn-in citizen, as a servant, that's what you do. You take a vow to protect those rights and follow them.
Now, do you, I was going to ask you, I think I'm getting old because a lot of times I know what I'm going to say, but then I'm going to say it, it's like, it just goes away. But I wanted to ask you, I don't know what I was going to ask you, Brian. But tell us a little bit about, you say you ran back in 16.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that you always wanted to seek office, or is it something new?
Oh, no. So what happened was, when I worked at the paper mill in Franklin.
You worked in Stinktown?
I did. I worked there 15 years, and they, you know, we all know it got shut down. Well,
Right.
that was what led me to go back to school, and I was getting my degree in education, wanted to be a teacher. So I got my associate's degree in education, and the last class I had to take, Dr. Carl Sweat, that teaches out at Paul D. Camp, he's a pastor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the teacher of the political science class I took, and I was reading stuff, and I was like, I told the wife, I says, I shouldn't have never said what I won't gonna do.
Right.
And I said, there's no way I'd ever want to run for office or have that put on me and want that responsibility. Ooh. I mean, like 6 months after I said it, it's starting getting put in my face. You know, I started working in local government, and I started seeing what was going on, and I'm like, well, that ain't right.
Right.
That's not right. You know, so instantly, as soon as I completed my associate's degree, I went on to get my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And my bachelor's degree was environmental studies. I got a job with Isle of Wight County, and, you know, that kind of got me in on local government. Go to a lot of meetings, you see a lot of things, you interact with other municipalities on how they do things, and you're just like, wow.
Is this how they really doing it?
Yeah. And it's and you know, of course, I'm in Isle of Wight, and they're like, you know, we're country folk, we got y'all beating Suffolk, you know. y'all got some jacked up stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from within the local government of, you know, how they view the city of Suffolk and their government and how it's run. So it's definitely improved, but we could be a lot better. I'm just disappointed in some of the things we've done in our initiative. Like what I said about what's happened this year and alone speaks volumes of their commitment to the average citizen.
So are you worried in any type of way, like far as the election? Like, do you think you have any competition?
I mean, yeah, it's Miss Johnson's done a good job as a mayor.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people that still like and support her. Mm-hmm. But last election I got 26% of the vote.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So do the
trying to
number.
think, did I-
Yeah. So it's one of those things where all I got to do is bump 5-6%, and the way they're going to split vote, I'm just saying,
Okay.
it's not going to be easy. It hasn't been easy. Yes, the goal is to win, but also the goal is to get out and meet people.
Right.
I can share story after story of people I met in 2016, and I've met more new people in 2020. And the people I met in 2016, I reconnected with them.
You connected, yeah.
I've been following you. Good seeing you. Keep at it. You're going to get it this time. That encouragement goes. But the most, I was walking right behind Peanut Park, not behind the paint store there.
Okay.
And I met a guy, his name was Mr. Watford, and he shared a story. He was just sitting there on his porch, and we talked for like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. His wife passed away. Meeting people like him, it touched me. And that's what I'm called to be out there doing for a season or for however long that season is. But that's what I want to be doing, is out meeting people, helping them, cheering them on, and when we got finished, he shook my hand. He said, "Come here, give me a hug. I ain't worried about COVID." And I mean, it's just about meeting people.
Meeting people, yeah.
Cheering them on.
Okay.
Okay, you mentioned that the current mayor has done some good things. So the question is, can you give us an example of some of those good things?
Well, I mean, I can't argue with Amazon coming in. She's claiming that she's the reason why. So if that is the truth, then that's one thing. But now, other than that, I don't have much to go on, because our roads are horrendous.
Right.
Our schools aren't much better. And our communication with transparency, that just don't happen.
Right. I see where she was saying, I watched the former, you guys, and she was saying that she was solely responsible for Lipton, which is Unilever, staying here. Is that true?
I mean,
She was saying they were about to go bye-bye, but she single-handedly saved them.
I can say this. Anyone in that position, mayor or whatever, city council, they're going to work with businesses to encourage them to stay.
Correct.
I don't think one person made that call. That's just my opinion, because what I keep getting told is it's a team effort.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be up there pounding my chest to say I made it happen when I had to have city council support. But I heard the same thing you heard.
Yeah.
But the next breath was, well, city council has to work together and we're all on the same team.
Sure
so
did. Sure did.
I'm just saying we can't be hypocritical, and that's the word I'll use, because that's what it is. You're saying one time, oh, we're working as a team, and then the next time I got them to stay.
Yeah, I think she tried to do a little cleanup, but it was like too late, because that was the first thing that I heard, and I was like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another question. Should the mayor have an open door policy for the citizens, that's reasonable, not just airing anything, but an open door policy where someone can pick up the phone or come see you?
With an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I know that she does. I mean, I know people that have met and talked with her about different issues, but they had to really scream loud to make that happen. Her position's a busy position. It's very time demanding. But I will say this, people that are in place to help and support you should be, in other words, if you and I were working together, I'm going to hire you, you're going to come work with me in downtown.
Sounds like a plan to me.
You're coming on, right? If they talk to you, it's just like you're talking to me. In other words, something should happen. In other words, I'm going to tell the mayor about this, but we're going to take care of it, because that's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
Like you're saying, there's some issues that, you get a splinter in your finger. We don't need to talk about that. But you lose a finger or lose your hand, we need to talk about it.
Talk about it, right.
I believe that is when people in the leadership position should step up and try to find out what the problem is and solve it.
So will you have an open door policy?
Of course.
Okay.
And real open.
Right.
I mean, like, I'm not closing the door. I want everybody to hear the same thing. Because what happens a lot of times when you close the door, the conversation that was had don't come out the same way.
That's right.
So, I feel like, the city is in a good place. I think there's a lot of good things that could happen with the right people involved to everyone can prosper. Right now, I only see certain groups prosper.
Certain groups, yeah. And that's bad because at the end of the day, but it goes along with the character and the way that the city is being ran anyway, because like you were saying, her roads are paved, or Northern Suffolk has this and that, and it's like everybody else doesn't. So it kind of adds up. It doesn't, move too far from the curve. Is there another question?
Yes. In reference to the water bill, city officials, are they complaining about the same high water bill, or do they get a cut? City officials.
No, everyone within the city, to the best of my knowledge, and I have some numbers on the water bill. I have been able to collect some information. So basically the way the rates are, it's the same for everyone.
Okay.
Now, I do know that there are discrepancies in other areas of the city for like real estate assessment, tax bills. Now, I know they fluctuate for certain people versus others. They make adjustments and, ease the pain of someone that, not maybe is less fortunate, but has a bigger bill and they don't want it to be so big. Developer here. I mean, it happens. The connection of real estate and, here's what I'll say. I want to share this with y'all.
Okay.
There's 4 candidates running for mayor. One sells houses, one sells cars, and one sells caskets. I'm not trying to sell anybody nothing but service.
Right.
I want to represent every citizen in the city of Suffolk. We all have different needs, and we need to make sure we, address the needs of all the citizens, not just a select few.
A select few, right? So they're basically, what you're saying is they're basically a salesman at heart. So they're, in it for whatever.
The money.
The money, yeah, the money.
The
pretty
money.
much. You said it, but I back you. The money.
I mean,
The money, and that's, and I'm so glad that we actually had you here today because, like I said, a lot of people didn't know who Brian was, because everybody else has the big signs and all of that, and it's fancy, but again, it goes all in what they have going on.
oh yeah, they have the money. I've raised some money and I've got some big signs. I learned from the last election. My name's out there.
Oh, definitely, because I see it all the time now.
Right.
I said, now I done talked to him the other day. Now I see his signs and stuff everywhere, and I see people, talking about you. So I just want people to actually not talk about you, but put it in action and come out and vote if they haven't already voted, because that, counts.
That's what counts. And look, I'll just tell y'all, even before election day, we've got the voter registrar up there. People are voting like crazy. And I've got a few signs. I've tried to, be up there. I'm working every day. I mean, like, I get up every morning at 4:30. I'm out the door 5:15. I work till 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Some days it's 5. And then I'm coming and campaigning.
Okay.
Now, once I'm elected mayor, I'm going to have to scale back my hours.
Oh, yes.
Because the city's going to need more of my time, and they're going to get it. I'm going to make it work. But I want to be up here greeting people. I don't have the money to pay people to sit up there like the other candidates.
So those people that sit there, they are actually paid?
Oh, yes.
They don't volunteer their time?
Oh, no, they're paid. I mean, so last election, I ended up there's 19 precincts, 19 voting precincts.
Okay.
In the city of Suffolk. And out of the 19, I think I paid 6 people. There's people that do it volunteer, and we covered it, and then I had 6 people that I had to pay because I just couldn't get enough volunteers. So that's kind of part of what goes on, but I would dare say that,
So if someone wanted to be a volunteer, what would they have to do in order to be a volunteer? Like,
just contact me.
Okay.
If you wanted to help hand out literature. I usually canvas on the weekends. I try to go in the evenings, canvas the neighborhood, just walk the neighborhood, give them my card, and anybody that's out, I just introduce myself.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
if you're interested and somebody wants to help, man, it'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm definitely
The more the
interested.
merrier. I
I'm
enjoy
definitely
it.
interested.
It's a good time. It's good fellowship. It's actually when I find out the most about things I didn't know, because you talk to people.
You talk to people,
you
yeah.
learn something, and it's about sharing our experiences.
So I understand you say you were talking to a guy, and he was telling you about his wife. I believe named Mr. Watford.
Yes.
Tell us about another story that you were out there and you were maybe canvassing or talking to someone that really made you know, hey, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. This is what I need to be doing.
So there's a neighborhood that runs from Nansen Parkway over to Wilroy. And
Okay.
I met two families in that neighborhood that didn't have kids, and now they have, since 2016. Now they've got kids,
They done grew a little.
another kid on the way. So it's
Oh,
like
they've been busy.
Yeah, it's like, man, this is good stuff. And I mean, the kids are like, hey, Mr. Bass,
Right.
and they remember me, the ones that were there,
Yeah, okay.
So I think just the being in the community. I mean, and I could tell one after another of people you've met that, there's been people that I met a lady off of Shoulders Hill Road.
Mm-hmm.
It's the neighborhood that Dominic lives in.
Okay.
And she lived in that first house there. And I met her, and her sister had been bad off in 2016. And I prayed with her, and we talked about, everything's going to be all right. Well, doggone, if like a week later, she had gone down to Georgia, seen her sister come back. She said she was doing better. And, we
Oh,
just witnessed to
wow.
one another about our faith.
Your faith, yeah.
And that meant a lot to me. Her and I connected. And it's just story like that
Like
just,
that.
I've enjoyed.
And that's what, it's ironic that you said that about faith. And because I was sitting here thinking, and I heard you speak a lot about being a servant. And that's what I get from you. Like, I honestly do. Like, and maybe that's, what it's supposed to be. Because some people, like I say, they're in it for whatever reason. But it seems like with you, it's natural. And it's just who you are at the core.
Well, and I think, y'all have asked why I'm doing this.
Right.
That's the why. Let's be honest, we're all called to be instrumental in this world and make it a better place than it was and I was sharing with you earlier, I heard a song today about when you give it your all, are you building a bridge or a wall? And that to me just speaks volumes of what I want to do in the community is build bridges.
Build bridges.
I want to help people. I want to help the city. I know there are great things ahead for us, and I'm just, I'm appreciative of the opportunity to come speak with you today and share who I am.
We are appreciative that you actually answered back, because I was like, honestly, when I reached out to you, I was like, well, let me see. I said, well, election. I said, we talked nothing about election the last couple of months, and it's here. Like, it's like in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, when I reached out, I honestly thought, I said, he's not gonna hit me back. But when you did, I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna say?
Come on.
What am I gonna ask? But when I tell you, when I spoke with you on the phone, you made everything for me at ease. It was just natural.
Well, I felt like I already
Wasn't
knew
forced.
you.
Right.
I mean, I feel like if we have barriers up and we're not open to people, you can't, here's the thing, you can't receive anything if your arms are like this.
And it goes back to that wall
And if
or
you are,
that bridge.
that's it. Hands open, you can receive all kinds of things.
That's right.
And that's kind of who I am.
That's it. Do we have a question? Okay, well let me ask you this then. Now, I know we talked a lot about the local government, but I know the night that I actually spoke with you, it was the fiasco.
Oh yes.
The debate that was actually on. What did you think about the debate? Or did you actually watch it? You didn't watch it?
I mean, I've been to a circus before.
I think we all have, but I
And
think that was a little different.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I want a message. They've had 4 years, the Republicans and the Democrats have had
Right.
4 years to give me a candidate that I would want to vote for. And I'm just saddened that that's what I have to choose from.
Right.
And that's, I'm struggling. I don't even know who I'm going to vote for.
Let me tell you,
I
I'm
mean-
at the same point. I don't know.
I mean, it's just hard. And, I can say that, what impacts my daily life and why I'm so involved with the local.
With the local, right?
That impacts my life more.
On a daily
There's things
basis.
we got to stand up and fight for locally, and then we can have our voice heard at the state level and at the federal level. Delegate Jenkins has done a tremendous job. He's accessible. Now, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Bass has been out all over the city of Suffolk, and by far, Clinton Jenkins is the number one person that I see that represents the state for the city of Suffolk. He represents the state, and I see him out.
Yeah, I used to go to church with him when I was a little girl.
Yeah, I mean,
he's always been a
that
good
speaks
guy.
volumes to me. It doesn't mean him and I always agree on anything, but he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to do and serve like the way I view it, the
way-
way it should be
The
done.
way it should be.
But
That's that's good because I'm undecided on who to vote for, and it's like I know that I'm going to vote because that's what
right.
that's what I should be doing, but it kind of made it hard. But I do know who I'm going to vote for on the local, so that I don't.
All right then, come on.
That I don't have to
Well,
I
see,
don't
we
have to
need
worry
that in
about-
about. I think if I get 16,000, it's going to be tight.
What is the population in Suffolk? Do you know?
Yeah,
what it is
yeah.
now?
So it's right around 95,000.
Okay.
We have approximately 60,000, and it's probably 63,000 registered voters.
Okay.
Last election, 34,000 voters voted in the city of Suffolk.
What?
Get this, only 27,000 of them voted for the local election. So 7,000 people stepped in. This is why
Right.
it's so important to vote for your local elections, but people walk in and they don't vote for the local.
And I think
7,000 people didn't vote.
I think I may have been in that 7,000.
I
As far as
the
yeah,
local election.
The local, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very important. And your voice can be heard. Get involved. That's the biggest thing. When I'm out talking to people, that I get that all the time. Well, I'm not registered to vote. Well, you're still a citizen of Suffolk. That you have representation because you and I have met now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what matters. That's what needs to be shared.
So is it too late for people to register?
No,
to
they're
vote?
having. Actually, I got invited out in Chuckatuck. There's a church right there in front of the Oakland Elementary School. They're
Okay.
having registration Sunday at 2. So I'm
At
going
2.
out there. I encourage anyone that hasn't registered to vote. It's easy. You just go to the VA government, like where you get your driver's license.
Driver's license.
You go online, you hit it, put your name in, and it'll take you right to it. If you have a driver's license and an ID, you can register to vote in like 3 minutes.
So that's the thing. We have to do our part by getting out. Well, one, registering to vote, and then getting out and exercising our right to vote instead of holding our votes. Because when we don't do anything about it and we sit and have conversations in our home, it isn't helping anything
No.
at all.
Okay, we just have some comments with people saying that they want to help, so that's just to let you know. I
We'll
do
make
have
sure you
your
get those names.
right. I do have your website pinned in
Okay.
the comments. Now, people that want to help, can they actually go to your website, or do they need to inbox you?
They can go to my website and go to that. There's a questionnaire. You can fill out that questionnaire, put in all your information, and I'll get it as soon as you hit send. It'll come to my email.
Okay.
And my email is brian@brianbassforsuffolk.com.
Could you spell that for them? Because some people are a little...
It's BRIAN. It's all good. I'm glad you got it.
Right.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
I was typing, I said, and one of our viewers inboxed me, and I said, well, dang, what in the world was I thinking? But
Listen,
typing so fast.
My kindergarten teacher, all the way through kindergarten, had brain on my report card.
And I did not see it. And when he said, I was so embarrassed. But I knew the guy from like high school. And he was like, no, you good, you good. And I was like, well, thank you. So as I saw it, I was in the middle of changing it right then and then. I said, oh, I got it. I definitely appreciate that.
So it's BRIAN at Brian, BRIAN Bass, BASS.com. No, at Suffolk. For Suffolk. I'm sorry. Brian Bass for Suffolk.com.
Okay, and then one last question before we get ready to wrap it up. Why should we think differently about you that you are not for the money? Because you mentioned the other three.
Right.
And it being a money issue, or
Well,
maybe they're for the money.
So it's easy, right? For me, I mean, I'm just giving you my truth and my story. Look, when I lost my job in 2010, when the paper mill shut down and I went back to school, I went from making, I'm not scared to say, I was making right around 60,000. I went from that to making, I think the first 2 years I was going back to school, I was getting $400 a week for a year and a half. That's what I had versus what I was making.
Wow.
And, I learned to live. And I saved money when I was working at the paper mill. I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, so I can't take any money with me anyway. And I'm not money hungry. I'm people servant hungry, if that makes sense. Because that's what I want to do. And it's not about that. It's about representing everyone. Because I want someone in office that has the same drive and passion I do. And I don't have that right now. There's nobody under 60 that's in office right now. And I'm not saying that, there's nothing wrong. I hope I get to that age, and I hope I can still serve and have the energy that I have right now. But my goal is to get in there and work with the city leaders that are in office, work with the citizens, and continue to improve for everyone, especially the average people,
Right.
I mean, we got to work and make their lives comfortable so that when the developers and all come in here, this is what we have to offer.
That's right. So while we're going to wrap it, do we have any more questions before we wrap it up?
We just had another. We just have a few people saying that it was interesting, and I guess one of your high school classmates said that's my boy with the green and white for Forest Glen.
Oh, so I got to shout out.
And then we had someone that
Look.
said we need young people in office.
Look, this right
Connecting
here,
Suffolk.
Connecting Suffolk. This is a shirt that my guy Alex Giles made for me.
Oh, okay.
You know Alex?
Yeah.
He made this shirt for me, and he just kind of went on and said, "I looked to your website, so it's Connecting Suffolk, Community, Unity, Brian Bass for Mayor."
Right. Sounds good to me. So look at that camera right there, Mr. Mayor. We're
All
going to
right.
speak that again. And let our viewers know what it is that you expect out of them.
I expect involvement. I expect y'all to come on out here and vote and get it done. The only way we can adopt, don't be scared of change.
Right.
Change is just a bend in the road. It's not the end of the road.
Say that one more time.
All right, you get ready. Change is just a curve in the road. It's a bend in the road. It's not the end of the road. So, when new people come in, there's going to be things we have to adapt to.
Correct.
But, if you continue to go in a straight line off this table, what's going to happen?
Fall off.
You're going to fall on the floor. So you got to be able to make turns and adjust. And that's what we have to do. We, as citizens, if you want to see change, you can't keep doing the same thing.
That's right.
You're just going to go straight on off the cliff. I don't want to go off the cliff. I want to keep making turns. Let's readjust. Let's try this. Let's do that.
Keep getting back up on the horse.
Let's go.
Let's go. Well, with that being said, let's go. I believe it's November the 3rd.
November the 3rd.
November the 3rd. If you guys haven't already went out and voted early. Now, let me ask you this before we go. In order to vote early, do you have to have anything, or just go out and just vote early?
So you can go right there to Commerce Street, City Hall,
Okay.
where the registrar's office is. You got to have your driver's license.
Okay.
That's it, or certified ID, and you go in there and vote. I've heard good things. People haven't been waiting, and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. Have you set up where you're gonna have your the night of the?
I've got 2 places. I'm waiting on some pricing stuff.
Okay.
I know one of them's here in town and one is out off of Route 10.
Okay.
But
okay.
if you have any suggestions,
I'll definitely let you know, and you let me know what place you decide to go with. We'll make sure that we can get some people out there in support of you, but most importantly, we want you guys to get out and vote. Like he said, you can go to the registrar's office now and vote with the correct documentation. And if not, you can wait and get in the hustle and bustle on November the 3rd. My thing is exercise your right to vote. Don't have crazy conversations at home of shoulda, woulda, coulda. Put it to action. Let's get out there and vote. Vote Brian Bass as mayor.
let's go.
And we really appreciate you for coming. You could have, like we say all the time, you could have been anywhere else, but you're here today, and we thank you. We look forward to seeing you again. We wish you all the luck. Not luck, because you already got it. So let's get out there, Suffolk. Let's vote Brian Bass for mayor. Good night from Wait Again a Minute.